So here we go. Here's the final illustration again. And all that's there is just kind of zooming in, creating the post that they're standing on in this part is just going to be a silhouette image. So it's just using the pen tool to create this image. So I'll try to center this so you can see it. And as you're dragging this down, just taking the fill out because it's at the default. And just extending it over the edge because we're going to use a rectangular shape to do a layer clipping mask. And then here's an elliptical shape for the top of it. Just kind of slightly rotate it. And that's there. So we'll hide it for now so we can do the illustration of the pelican. And again, using the pen tool, clicking to drag, clicking to curve. Just doing a quick rendition of the outline of this. Again, this is the silhouette. So when you think of the black and white for a silhouette or white on black, positive and negative shapes, I'm going to build that piece up. And once this is there, just use the keystroke. It's a black and white. Just click on the Shift X. And that'll swap the colors back and forth. That's pretty good. And so now the next part, just taking a look at this backward section of the landscape. So it has another pen tool, clicking and dragging across, and you can use the eyedrop tool if you'd like to at least get some of the colors set down there. You can always modify it and change it, but just holding the icon there and the shift key, and that's going to let you fill that color piece in there. The rectangle shape just for the outline and the circle, and making the rectangle a little bit larger, and using the eyedrop tool with the shift key just to grab a color. And now for the netting, you could use straight lines. I just started to decide to use a rectangular shape tool and use a square with the shift key to close some of these palettes. So we can stretch across and just scroll across, doing one, and then option to duplicate it, and then Command D, all in that order, will give you the items duplicated equal distances apart, set from the first one. And there you have a row. Could copy and duplicate that, or just continue with the Command D all the way across, and that'll get you this row set down below, and then make a selection of all of these and group them together. Will make it easy to do the top. And it's nice to group them together. That way, in case you slip or something, you don't have to try to reselect everybody. So here it is duplicated, making the entire net. And you can take the profile on the stroke panel and change it, and then use the warp tool, envelope, and this will let you bend the curvature of that fencing. Top part is just a stroke going across with pieces to show like the linking, holding the net up, and then just modifying the warp a little bit to fit, and then adjusting them so they look kind of naturally hanging there, and placed it on there. So it gives you a good piece. You can select that whole fencing and group it together, and then come back to the shading of the sun with the sky. You can use different color attributes that are in there, preset gradients, and once they're listed in there, you can modify them, and then just start to recompose all the pieces, the ground plane, giving that a gradient similar to the sky, and placing that up in there. So it's not too difficult, just a little bit of drawing, and then using the gradients to try to help you create this composition and landscape, and then just do a screenshot of this piece. Basically pretty much puts it in there. Yeah, just kind of highlight that. And you can always put some gradients on the column with the pelican. But there it is, solid black and white.